to Meet Me in the Penthouse. I am Amy, along here with my sister Molly. We help high-achieving women increase their income, but most importantly, their impact. We are neighbors, sisters, and business partners. We have built 8-figure businesses together, traveled the world together, raised our children together, mentored thousands of men and women together, and it's all because we have a penthouse mindset. We aim for the top, and we show others how to empower themselves to peel back the layers and truly step into their greatness and calling. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. So glad you are here. My name is Amy Moster. I'm here along with my sister Molly Croker. We absolutely love doing these podcasts every week for you. And we are so passionate about helping women not only increase their income, but most importantly, their impact, because that is what we are truly all here for. So I am so excited. We did an incredible breathwork session just recently, Molly and I did. We had no idea what we were getting into, but it was life-changing. It was absolutely life-changing. Not only because of the work, but this beautiful woman that we are about to interview, Tamera Shantell. I am so glad that you're here. And welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here.
And normally, Tamera, normally, the one time we met you, I love that you showed up with a flower in your hair and you said aloha. And I'm like, oh, she brings a magical, mysterious energy. So tell us a little bit about you. Of course, we want to hear how in the heck did you get involved in breath work? And Amy and I saw, just so everyone knows, we saw Detox Breathwork. I had a friend of a friend recommend you, and I found you on social media and then saw that you were doing a class in Lincoln. Of course, as sisters, we do everything together. And so I was like, we should sign up for this. And I love to write things in a paper calendar. So I reminded Amy, and she's like, oh no, I've got it written down. Like, we're good. We're going. And it was truly, the fact that we got to do it in Nebraska, I have to say, was so special. But the fact that you're in Nebraska, but you were originally from Nebraska, I'm like, how do we get this gem of a woman that was just living on Maui here in our backyard in Lincoln, Nebraska? So we'd love to hear a little bit of your story, friend, if you'll just be willing to share.
Sure. No problem. Everyone has a story, and that's what I have learned is how much of the story do you want to share and how much do you want to hear? But yes, I'm born and bred in Lincoln, Nebraska, or not Lincoln, Nebraska, in Nebraska. I moved to Lincoln for college, and it was about, right after I graduated where I started to really kind of wonder about life. And I read The Secret by Rhonda Burns. And that really helped me start down this path, this esoteric path, which in Lincoln, Nebraska back then, I thought I was very weird. So I didn't really talk about it to people.
Okay, what year was it? Just so we know,
I graduated in 2002. I probably didn't read The Secret till 2006, 2007.
Okay. No, that is honestly about when
we were
introduced to The Secret. And I'm not kidding you. I played that CD over and over and with my kids over and over and over and over and over. So much that I taught 2 running friends how to attract their soulmates, and they are still married today because of it. So, I love that. I had forgotten that you had read The Secret. So we kind of are all there, same time frame as well. Okay, continue on.
So The Secret helped me realize the number one thing is we have control over our mindset. And so you probably heard me in Breathwork say that 90% of your thoughts are recycled from yesterday. So if you have self-limiting, self-sabotaging beliefs, you're often going to repeat them over and over again, and you just get stuck in a rut. And so I recognized back then you start really thinking about the have, do, and be's. And then it evolved after that because you realize you have to be what you want to attract. But that was many years later after reading The Secret, where I finally had the lifetime experience of realizing when you put it into practice. Moved to Kansas City, got into the tech world, and it was in 2013, I think. Microsoft bought my company. It really opened up the doors, and Salesforce recruited me in San Francisco. So I moved in 2014, and moving to California from Lincoln was one of my dream come trues. I'd always envisioned palm trees in my head. Moving to the Bay Area was a little bit different because I think I'd always kind of pictured Southern California, but it was the mecca of technology. And when I moved there, I really felt like I had arrived. And it was kind of interesting seeing how I manifested my dreams into reality. And then I started feeling guilty for wanting more, which is an interesting thing for all of us humans. Is we think we hit this pinnacle, and then we think we just need to sit there and appreciate it and, be grateful for it. And that's all we get. And so it was in this state when I was introduced to personal development, seminars. They are a personal development group. They focus on expanding human consciousness. They're the longest standing personal development group in the world. They've been in business for 52 years now, I believe. And it really helped me dive deep into understanding who the heck I was as a person and why I was here, what my purpose was. So that's when I really started getting into purpose-driven work. I thought, moving to San Francisco and getting into technology was what I was supposed to do. But what I started to realize very quickly is that that was the avenue in which it could afford to pay for all of my passions. And so when I graduated from high school, I wanted to go to college. I wanted to be pre-med. I wanted to get into the Peace Corps. And it was probably after, probably my first freshman football party that I realized, maybe the doctor route isn't the route I want to go. So we got into technology. But it was during the pandemic that life changed for all of us. But it was really a beautiful opportunity for me to stop and assess where I wanted to be, because there was a huge discerning gap between the life of my dreams and the life I was living in downtown San Francisco. I remember it to this day. It was Friday, March 8th. They went around the office and they said, we're going to stay home for a while. Do you have everything you need on Friday? Take everything you need because you're not coming back. And I never came back. So for 5 years now, life just continued to change. But it was during the pandemic when I really started to realize that this wasn't the life, the rat race that I wanted to live in, where you could hear everything, the cars, there wasn't grass to put my feet in. And so it was June of 2021. One of my best friends at the time, she was kind of a nomad. She had moved out of her New York City apartment, and she was trying to convince me to move to the house I had bought for my mom in Nebraska. And there was something I was like, no, I'm not ready. That's not what I want to do. She went to Hawaii. It was on the island of Oahu. I went to join her for a quick visit. And that was when I knew that was where I needed to go. And so I moved to Oahu in August timeframe of 2021. And I was there for almost a full 2 years. It was there that I met the man of my reality. He was a military man, and he invited me to move off the island to the Monterey Peninsula area in California. So we lived in Carmel by the Sea. And it was in 2022 when I got certified in breathwork detox. And so I started doing breathwork detox at a yoga facility in Carmel. And then it was early last year when he had a midlife crisis and he broke up with me, and I didn't know where I wanted to go. And because I'm a universe person, I surrendered and I said, universe, where is it that I need to go? Put the right things in my path. And that's when it said, Lincoln, Nebraska. You need to go be with your mom. I had met my dad and a plethora of siblings in 2018. And so I came back here to be around family, because I'll tell you what, if you think you are healed, go hang out with your family for a week. And so this has been a true testament to how much work I've put in, and then the triggers that come up that show me in childhood the areas and opportunities that I still have to work on. So here we are.
Isn't that so? That is such a perfect, well-balanced, here we are in a nutshell. And I know you just were at a wedding with some of these extended family that are now your new siblings and all the things. You're like, I am immersing myself fully into this.
Yeah, we went to a wedding. I hadn't met the groom or that side of the family. It was my cousin I'd met only once, but she has been a huge supporter of my virtual breathwork detox events. And so it's just it's like we knew each other in another life. So if you believe in that, I do believe that our souls chose to come here. They chose our parents. A lot of my friends that maybe don't believe in the same things I do, they always are like, you're crazy. It's it makes it so much easier for me to have this belief that I chose my mom. So instead of getting resentful or mad about certain things, I get to have so much compassion because I chose this. And if I don't understand, that's where the lesson is. And then I get to lean into those edges. And so same with family. You see that there's a dynamic in every single family. What meeting my dad has really helped me uncover is that I'm not so weird that I thought I was weird growing up in Pender, Nebraska, this little small town. It was probably when I was in my late 30s that I had this aha moment that said, well, if you weren't weird, you would have never left and you would have never lived this life that you've lived. You would have never created the things, you would have never stepped on the path. And so I think the healing journey is all about coming to this beautiful place of acceptance for our childhood, for giving so much grace to our parents because they were doing the best that they could with the limited information. I mean, they couldn't get online and Google what the next mother was doing. And so you just look at what you had and then you can choose to do and show up differently. And so that's all we have in this life is our choices. And so I've really learned because I had to get very clear when I was moving back from Carmel. I drove here. It took me 2-3 days to get back. This was my worst case scenario. Like I had this story in my head that moving back to Lincoln meant I was a failure. I wasn't doing anything with my life. I had to move back home with like my legs tucked in between my legs or my tail tucked in between my legs. And I had to realize like, well, clearly I don't feel like a failure and I am moving back to Lincoln. So I recreated the story and I realized the universe wants me here for a reason. And if anything, it's to share breath work with beautiful souls like yourself, because my mission in life is to shine my light brightly and to help others find that inner light and radiance and shine it, because that is what makes the world heal and what makes the world shine a lot brighter. And the only thing we have is our authentic selves to shine. And I recognize like what a people pleaser I was living here. So coming back, I get faced with all of the reasons that it wasn't that I didn't like Lincoln. I didn't like the girl that I was living here. And so the past year and a half has been incredibly healing because I get to look back and be like, I love that girl because that girl got me to Oahu to live that life that maybe I was too scared back in, when I was 20. But when I was 40, I had the courage to go do that. So that girl, she was doing something that I didn't give her enough credit at the time.
Well, and you brought up such a great point, Tamara. And this is what, when we walked into that class, the detox breath work, first of all, you spoke our language because we love mindset work. Obviously, we're mindset coaches, but subconscious reprogramming. And really, I felt like I was truly at a Tony Robbins event. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's saying all the buzzwords. She understands the subconscious, right? Just like you said, when you were driving back 2.5 days, you're like, I'm a failure, I'm this, and the subconscious, shocker, guess what it will believe. Anything you tell it. So why would you not believe if you're going to make up a story, at least make up one that's true, at least believe one that I am here for a reason. I'm here to do impactful work. And guess what? I get to do it anywhere. And the fact that I get to choose to, help in my parents' aging and get some other things on the ground. Like that's the beautiful thing. So talk a little bit about what is detox breath work? What does that mean? What is breath work? Isn't it just breathing? How hard can that be? Is it in through your nose, out through your mouth? Like all those things.
Yeah. So they say breathwork detox is like 20 years of therapy in one session without saying a word. So that's how powerful it is.
I have to tell you, I believe that.
Yeah.
I'll admit, like I did some talk therapy in my 20s, and I just remember all the therapist did was trigger me. And I obviously didn't want to face my triggers. I didn't want to be wrong either. And so guess what? I stopped going. But with breathwork detox, you are in control. You're in the driver's seat the entire time. But I think the beautiful part for a lot of people is you really have to surrender, because people that like to have, a strong grip at the wheel of life and always need to control things, when you're lying down on a mat, now it's called deep diaphragmatic breathing or conscious circular breathing, because you're always in a state of awareness while you're breathing. You're breathing all open mouth. It's 2 breaths in, 1 breath out. And the reason your mouth is open is because when you breathe through your mouth, you tap into the sympathetic nervous system, which is going to tap into your fight or flight. And so what you start to learn when you're doing this type of healing modality is that you are unlocking years, decades, lifetimes of unprocessed trauma. I read a study that said that cancer and diseases, illness will show up on your body because you're not processing your trauma. And now trauma can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I know a lot of people have challenges when they think about their childhood. And that's the first step, is just having this awareness that we all have different degrees of trauma. Like for me, I thought my childhood was perfect, but guess what? I didn't have a dad growing up. So subconsciously, I inherited everything that my mom felt in the womb, probably abandonment and this anxiety and shame. So I inherited that coming here. And so a lot of the emotions that we feel as children, it's energy and motion. We are energetic beings. Everything is energy, and energy can either be transmuted and changed into something else, or it can get stuck. And when it's stuck in the body, it turns into disease and illness. And this is what is the endemic for all of us humans. Stress and anxiety are the number one killers. And it is because we're a microwave society. We want a quick fix for everything. We want to grab for the pill. We want to do all the things instead of actually sitting and doing what's called shadow work. And all shadow work is tapping into those childhood emotions and loving that little kid that went through that. And there's so many different ways to process and to do the shadow work. But a lot of it is coming to the core of just understanding you have some energy, some emotional baggage that you're holding on to. And how do you know you're holding on to? Because you're not living the life of your dreams. Anything that you haven't let go of, you're holding on to. And that is what is blocking your blessings. It's blocking you from taking the next step. And so when I did my first breathwork session, it was when I was deciding to move to Hawaii. And so it was after that first session that I was like, oh yeah, I felt so in alignment, and all of the fear and all of the doubts that I was having, because you have to realize, like, nothing moved me there. When I moved to California, Salesforce was waiting for me. So I had an end date and I had somebody that I was responsible to report to. Moving to Hawaii was just this like whimsical dream in my head that I wanted to go stick my feet in the sand. If I was going to be single in a pandemic locked down, well, I wanted some sunshine and some ocean and palm trees. And so moving to Hawaii was where I really learned how to surrender and slow down. And then when I learned that aloha literally means the presence of breath, I just started to receive all of these signs that I was on the right path. And so breathwork has become the modality in which I can really start to help impact a lot of other people. And what it is that I do and go from here, it's in the curation state right now. Six Pack Soul is what it's called, and where it's going, it's unraveling as we speak.
And I think that many of you maybe that listen have no breath work. I know I'm a Pilates instructor. I have been for 25 years. So a lot of different breathing patterns, being a physical therapist, all that, right? Diaphragmatic, you know, accessory muscle breathing. I mean, there's all these breath work. And then many of you probably know Wim Hof. That was kind of where I first heard breath work. And I thought, oh, I have to be submerged in a freezing cold lake to do Wim Hof breathing, or the breathing in the shower, Wim Hof breathing, or Gary Brecka. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that teach breath work. Are there a lot of different types, and how do you know what's good for every person, and what do you feel like is the best that you teach?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different breathwork modalities, and you can go into a yoga class and experience, 5 to 6 different types. I think the two that I like the most are breathwork detox, what I'm doing with the 2 breaths in, 1 breath out. And I think it's because you're first pulling the first gasp of air into the belly. And this is, I think, what probably 80-90% of humans aren't doing, because we're holding our breath is what a lot of us are doing. We're not taking deep inhales into the belly, and the belly is where 80% of your immune system resides. This is where you produce serotonin, and that's what keeps you happy and healthy. And we're not fully breathing because when we get stressed, we start to constrict and it seems to move up into our shoulders and up into our lungs, and then we're gasping for air. But what you start to realize is, what does the body do when you panic? It will sigh or it'll gasp. And most people don't know this, but you're actually sighing about 5 times every hour, if not more. And I think when you start to get conscious to how you're breathing, making your breath conscious instead of doing it in a subconscious way, because people tell me this all the time. I breathe every day. I'm like, well, I hope so. Otherwise, we'd have some issues. But we do. It's something that we're doing completely unconsciously. But when you bring your consciousness to it, that's where the magic is. And so even if you're sitting in meditation, you can breathe with the inhales of your breath. And so to calm your heart rate, to lower your blood pressure, to give you increased clarity, you can just breathe in through your nose 5 seconds and then breathe out for 5 seconds and just take the awareness to the breath. You're going to have the thoughts come in and go like they do. But when you start to slow down the breath and you start to become connected and aware that you're connected to so much more than just yourself. You're connected to the trees outside. You're connected to your neighbors. We're all connected as energetic beings. But with Breathwork Detox, I just feel that the results that I have received from doing this deep diaphragmatic breathing, and you guys did the long version, like 30 minutes. You certainly don't need to do this every day.
It was so hard. Like you said, it was going to be hard. And I thought, how hard can this be? And about, like you said, about 60 seconds in, you're like, why did I sign up for this? Why did I think this was a good idea? This is so hard. There's no way I'm going to make it 30 minutes. That was my little brain. But then I went immediately, like I said, I went to things I've done that are hard, right?
Mhm.
Given birth to a baby, Ironman, grad school, like all the things. I'm like, you can do this. And at the end, it is euphoric. I said, why would you ever need alcohol or drugs? Because you can
get high on your own supply.
There you go. There you go. You get high on your own supply. I'm like, that is so perfect.
And I think that's the part that I really like, is that you're doing it for 30 minutes, but literally if you can commit and surrender that first 10 to 12 minutes when it kind of sucks, breath work, there's the word work that's there. But after that point and you get into that transient hypofrontality, that flow state, we've all experienced it, whether it's like, my mom, she crochets and I just watch her and she just gets lost because she's so focused on what she's doing and she loves to do it, particularly if it's something you love and enjoy. Artists, athletes. So you can have that same experience in Breathwork Detox. And that's what helps you have, those insights. You start to tap into your intuition. You have more clarity on the next steps that you need to take. But you don't have to do this every single day. And if you do it every day, you don't have to do it for 30 minutes. I host for the Breakfast Club for my community every Tuesday, where we typically teach, or I give insights. I like to use it as a platform in which I can share all of my esoteric knowledge that I've been collecting. And then it's a 10 to 15 minute session, and then you're out your door ready to start your day. So you certainly don't have to go as deep as often. But what you start to realize is the more you do it, your breath isn't the only thing that you're letting go of. I mean, I feel myself, like I release pounds, like I lose weight doing breath work, because 70% of your body's toxins are released through deep diaphragmatic breathing. So there's so many awesome benefits besides alleviating stress and anxiety and depression and all of those things that bog us down working in this, 9 to 5 3D world that we're in right now.
So how often, that brings up a great point. How often should you do breath work? And I know we even spoke about, well, breath work can be just sitting in your car, breathe in for 3, breathe out for 4. I mean, it doesn't have to be this regimented. I have found that my morning ritual that I've been doing for years, which I love, I have loved adding breath work to it. And it started small and it's gotten bigger and bigger. And No, I don't do 30 minutes, but I can easily get past those first 5 minutes of thinking this is really hard, but I love starting. It just brings such clarity to my day and just gives me a sense of euphoria. And I'm just laying down. So,
Yeah. I mean, breathwork detox, you could do it once a week, once a quarter, every full moon. And so it's really powerful to go into a breathwork session with a powerful intention of what you're looking to accomplish in the next 1 week, 1 month to the next year. So I don't think there's a right or wrong for anyone. I think breathing every day, being conscious of your breathing. Because what I've started to do is if I, depends on what time my workout is in the morning. If I get up and I'm rushing to go to my workout, when I'm in the car, I take a deep breath and then I ground. And when I ground, what I'm doing is I'm visualizing a grounding cord going to the crust of the earth. Because if I could do anything, I can make sure I'm centered and I'm aware. Many of us, we live in present tense. So we live in the future. And that's what creates anxiety because we're never fully present of what we're doing. We're always going into our to-do list. Where are we going? What are we going to do? Who are we going to see? Instead of just being right here and right now and connecting to your breath is a beautiful opportunity to bring you back into your body, bring you back into your space. And I always say the magic's in the mundane. So, like living in Nebraska, it is different than living in California or Hawaii, but magic is everywhere. You just have to find it. Yeah.
that's so good. And I know when Amy, I don't know if you want to share your experience with the breath work detox, but I am so literal. And I told Tamara, I said, you probably were like, oh my goodness. I really, that belly breathing, number one, as a woman, you're always taught to hold your stomach in, right? So the fact that you actually get to belly breathe like your little babies do. But I mean, I was so literal, it hurt my ribs, honestly, because I was expanding so much because I thought, get rid of all these toxins, just expand and open that. It almost seriously like hurt my lower rib cage. Because I was so intentional about the diaphragmatic breathing and then upper chest. And then obviously when you're in a room full of people, you can hear your own breath, but you don't hear other people's. That's what you did such a lovely job with is the music was just incredible that you literally felt like you were just floating. I mean, I saw bright light. Your hands kind of did that interesting thing. I don't want to give away all the things because I want people to come see you, but it truly was. I mean, the best way I can describe it is euphoric. And it felt like 30 seconds had gone by when 30 minutes had gone by. So I loved that. Amy, did you have an experience you wanted to share when we went through this?
Well, I had done a little bit when we were down in Mexico. We did it for about an hour. We did 108 times. We did box breathing. And that was really hard. It was a different experience, but that was really, really painful for me. And this, I loved how my favorite thing was just how you explained it. You did such a great job of explaining it. And, so I knew exactly but I'm very, I feel like one of the things that probably caused me to have such a great experience is that I'm very open. I've been practicing because I have had a lot of trauma in my life and I refuse to be defined by it. And I've refused to be the victim. So I started doing this years ago and didn't tell anybody. And in 2014, I went, is where I found yoga and breath work. And then I continued in my basement. God is who my higher power is. And so I would pray and I would do all of this work and my affirmation. And I did it all. And I thought everybody would think that I was odd. And so, but it's truly what saved my life. And so, the experience with you was so different in such a beautiful way, but I'm just as I continue to ascend to the next level of my life. I'm so open to it. And I think that is the thing is you have to be open and wanting that healing, to happen. And it was just so healing for me, just another layer healed again. So it was just, I think the hands thing, like you said, was probably, because you just are in this kind of floating feeling, like almost your body's asleep, your hands are asleep or whatever. And yeah, it was amazing.
It was. And the thing I love also is the power of being in person. I think, especially following COVID, we love to be in person, but also knowing it is just as impactful online. And I say that as somebody that loves human touch. I mean, I love touching, heart to heart. I'm a hugger, and I love that you honestly can get the same effect virtually, which is so powerful, because what does that mean? I mean, you have more impact. And so I know that that's your goal as well as ours, right? Just to have more impact, like waking up every day saying, who am I going to impact? Who am I going to serve? Who am I going to bring value to? Who am I going to bless? And that is absolutely what you're doing. So we are along for the ride. And something we always ask Tamara is, what does it mean to live in the penthouse for you? Because obviously this is called Meet Me in the Penthouse. What does it mean to live in the penthouse for you?
Living in the penthouse to me, I think it means being able to do, and being able to be the person that I desire to be in the moment I desire to be at, having true freedom to make choices for myself, for my family, that will bring more light to the world. That's what's so beautiful along this path, is you realize not everybody wants the same thing. Because I started to think, oh, these dreams of grandeur that I have, like, what if everybody wanted them? And then you learn they don't. Not everybody wants to live in a penthouse, but the penthouse vibe, baby, all day long.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen, sister. And you've got it. You definitely have got it. And I just love how you can recognize when you're aware of how people present themselves, and the times I've gotten to spend with you in person. It is light. It is radiant. It is just warm and lovely. And I love what you're doing, and I just look forward to it getting even bigger and stronger. And so if you're looking for Detox Breathwork, best place to find you, Tamara, is?
You can find me on Six Pack Soul at Instagram. That's probably the easiest way. And then you can shoot me a DM, and then we can get connected that way. Otherwise, Tamara, Tamara at sixpacksoul.com is my email.
There we go. You've got it, friends. And I promise you, we've told everyone, we're like, they even mention a thing. We're like, you have to go to this Detox Breathwork. But again, if you don't live by us, because a lot of you don't, a lot of you listeners live globally, don't you worry, you can plug in virtually. So we love that. So reach out to Tamara.
Tuesday.
Yes,
11/11.
next Tuesday, 11/11.
Oh, yes.
That's right. And so it's going to be magical. And gosh, what an incredible thing. Just that's the thing I would say, like Amy said, just be open, be open. Now we're telling everyone about it, and it is really, really powerful. So thank you for sharing with us today, my friend. More is coming, and we look forward to partnering with you in lots of ways. So
Likewise.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to share and love us on Spotify or Apple. Give us a 5-star review. We love that. And honestly, if this would bless and serve someone, that is the biggest gift, is complimenting us on what we're doing and sharing it with a friend that needs to hear Tamara or needs to hear from the sisters next door, because we appreciate you. Thank you, everybody.
Hey guys, we'd love to have you join our waitlist for our class of You from the Top. There are going to be incredible women who are making incredible, decisive, clear decisions. The energy is fabulous. The view from the top is fabulous. And there's room for you at the top. Go to sistersnextdoor.com and join our waitlist.